To be fair, let's pretend that this isn't weird and that we did this properly, is how, like, all show business is done. All of it.
Yeah. Let's pretend we planned this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Let's just say, SNL. Every individual cast member, do you ever sit there and think if anyone's taking a shit, like, 2 minutes before the show starts? Would you be able to tell? Or are they professionals? Because I guarantee there's someone who, like, popped an edible right before the show starts and is hoping it kicks in after the filming's done.
For new SNL, definitely. I definitely get that energy from a lot of, like, the new SNL cast. Like, the old SNL cast, they all look like they were getting smashed beforehand. I'm pretty sure every single person was drunk off their ass when performing SNL.
The thing is, there's like the early 70s to 80s SNL, which is like underground stuff that became mainstream. And then the 80s through the 90s SNL is mainstream, and there's a lot of really, really good bits because some of the old school people basically got the funding and resources they needed.
Yeah.
And then there's like the 2000s through the 2010s SNL, which... That's the SNL I actually watched, and I can't think of more than like 2 bits I could go back to. But it still meant something. And now this SNL, it's like everyone involved knows what it is. Everyone who's watching knows what it is. The network knows what it is. Everyone's just going, okay, you keep watching, we'll keep doing it. But, well, that's SNL, baby.
Yeah, it's SNL. Yeah. Yeah.
It's Saturday night, stated with excitement, is something you can't do 40 years in a row.
Yeah, I think that the funniest thing that has happened vis-a-vis SNL is the time that Donald Trump's idiot son thought it was Saturday and live.
The funniest thing to happen to SNL, I think, from, like, not SNL being responsible, but SNL being the victim of the joke, is how... I forget her name, the actress. She was really, really key in 30 Rock, but she did Sarah Palin.
Oh, yeah.
Tina Fey?
Yeah, Tina Fey, Sarah Palin, basically humanized Sarah Palin to the point where she wasn't ridiculed and provided a serious opposition to Obama. Because... through mockery, as opposed to, like, the making fun of Hitler thing, where it's like you need to, at a certain point, use mockery to make fun of a figure who has been involved in so much ridiculous...
Yeah, you Jojo Rabbit it a bit.
Yeah, because, like, it's one of those things where, like, there's someone who does shit so bad that you have to fictionalize, and there's another thing where it's like, if you fictionalize, you're just softening someone up. Like, there's a reason that at some point when we're, like, making a fictional joke about, like in the old campaign, like, oh, this is Elon Musk, and you're going to cut off his head. There's a point where we go, haha, Elon Musk, and then make clear that we're making an allegory, and then try to show why the allegory is really dangerous. Like, you make the joke because because you have to tell people this is funny because Elon Musk has apartheid emerald money, you know?
Yeah.
You can't just go, haha, tech billionaire. Otherwise, there's a really good chance people will go, haha, that'd be cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I find the figure of Elon Musk really frustrating, because, like, all of us went to school at the same school. That's how we know each other. And, like, we were all in different disciplines that are, like, tangentially and interdisciplinarily wise, like, related.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew all the physics and space people. And, like, Chelsea and Gabe, y'all knew the engineering people and, like, the software people. And Ken, you knew both the geology and the software people. So it's like, we all know Musk people.
Yeah.
I believe all of us individually know 10 different, mutually exclusive Elon Musks who literally, if you just gave them $1 billion, would start sending shit to space. So, like, the problem is that we have a saturation of people who have skills they can't apply. There's people who can do the Elon Musk shit. He just has apartheid emeralds.
Yeah.
There's people who want to send shit to space without, like, intimidating their employees into not unionizing.
Hey, speaking of
That's just
SNL,
a billionaire vibe.
Yeah. Thank me for the benefits I grant unto you with this money I have stolen from you. The Bill Gates approach of like, I'm going to give to a lot of charity so you forget that I am responsible for all of your computers, and that's how I made fortunes beyond the fathomability of what a human could need.
yeah.
You ever look up the price of a Bugatti Veyron? Think about how many Bugatti Veyrons you could buy with $1 million.
I had to look up the price of a Bugatti Veyron
That's
my physics teacher in high school had us run a physics question of how much it would cost to replace a Bugatti Veyron if you drove it into a lamppost.
Okay, what's a Bugatti Veyron?
It's a very expensive car.
Question. The Bugatti Veyron is not just a very expensive car, but it's a physics problem car. The way that you would see someone carrying 12 watermelons and go, haha, they wrote things in the physics book about you.
Yeah.
The Bugatti Veyron is, I believe, a 16-cylinder engine, 4 turbochargers. It's basically
ugly.
It is kind of ugly. It is designed by people who run Bugatti who realize they have a historical model to maintain, but the desires and their customer base and the history all intermingle into an obscenely ugly car. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's ugly as shit.
It looks like a face.
Yeah.
You know?
The Bugatti Veyron is literally someone coming, thinking about how fast this car can go. It's someone going, oh, 16 cylinders.
Yes! It has this weird circle on the front of it that makes it just kind of look like it has an open mouth.
Mm-hmm. You know how Mario Kart style karts will be handling versus speed versus acceleration? The Bugatti Veyron is literally someone putting all points in speed and acceleration, and then the bare minimum in handling required to make the vehicle viable. It is a stupid car. It is designed to go really fucking fast in one direction to rack up a ridiculous price for rich people to pay because they look at the stats and go, well, it can go 500 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. And that's what my physics teacher had us do. He had us, bit by bit, run different calculations of, you have this stretch of road, what speed will you be going at, then you hit the post, what's the energy potential of you hitting that fucking post? And then he does the hand-wavy damages, and then just how much money does it cost for you to replace this Bugatti Veyron?
I have a trope I like to use as a GM, which is asking a question you didn't think you'd need. I'm running a game off stream, a couple of different ones, in fact, to playtest something that's to do with building a house, like Stardew Valley Bloodwine. And there's some things where do you shit? You don't think about those questions, but when they become present, you really think about them. Something like the Bugatti Veyron, if you need to do a 0 to 60 test and move 500 kilometers an hour, where on the planet can you perform this task? Where can you go straight for that long?
No, guys, I don't want to derail the conversation, but the top speed of a Honda Civic is 169 miles per hour.
Nice. You know the people at Honda were fucking testing that. They got that and we're just boom, nice.
Well,
we
that's
did it.
the thing, right? A Honda Civic is a famous tuner car. I almost said tuna car. Because it's that same thing where it's the Bugatti Veyron is someone wanted big numbers and could afford to pay them but didn't think about the reality.
Yeah.
The Honda Civic is someone going, I need a car that gets me to work. That I can fuck around in, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Realistically, when are you going 169 kilometers per hour?
Exactly.
On 401 before you get caught before the next interchange. That's when.
Right,
That's why a Honda Civic is a fast car.
That's also in miles per hour, which is even worse.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to. Hey, listen, I don't want to sound like I'm jealous, but the Bugatti Veyron can't even go twice as fast as a Honda Civic. So, pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the Bugatti Veyron can go I just slurred all of the words in that sentence.
It's okay.
The Bugatti that's
The
almost
Bugatti
a tongue twister.
Poggers.
Yeah, the Bugatti Poggers.
Okay.
It can go extremely fast, until the inevitable point where it gets caught. Like, a cop sees that car and starts following, going, I'm waiting for the traffic station.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, anybody driving a Bugatti Veyron isn't going to be, like, following the rules of the road.
No. If you can buy that car, you can buy a parking ticket, you can buy a speeding ticket, you can buy a counterfeit license. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, like, laws
You're rich
are...
enough to not have to pay for the consequences of your actions, so shrug.
Yeah, exactly. How much is a Bugatti Veyron?
Yo!
Let's see.
Is this just going to be the car podcast now? Or is this what we've decided?
I'll trade my 2000 Honda 6 in for a Bugatti Veyron.
I'll trade in my I don't own a car for not a Bugatti Veyron.
Oh my god. Hey,
See, that's why I like cars, is because they're a largely hypothetical object. Like, I'm not going to cut a car. Not until I pay off my student loans, and that's years from now.
Yeah.
1.9 million.
Fuck.
Oh. Okay, well, I bought my 2006 Honda Civic 5 years ago for like $5,000.
It's like an equal trade right there.
Yeah.
Just go to the Honda dealership, be like, hey, I want a Bugatti.
Yeah, I want a Bugatti. Can I trade that in?
So y'all want to do this then?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Alright, well, the bombs are set. Jane is in position. It's the early morning. Crowquill's son and Tiana have made land. The prisoners grow wearier and weaker as the trees are cut. The Bilgewater lies in wait for the detonation. The waves lap lazily on an accursed shore, the self-same wind surging, branch and brush in unison. The idol is broken by axes whacking, soldiers shouting, the agonizing shamble of the weakened working by force. And like the waves attempting to breach the shore, this ends soon. At noon sharp, the land clearing ends with a bang. Welcome to Bloodwine.
Boom.
Boom.
And not to derail the session immediately back into the car thing, but like, I can't wait to buy myself a Charge-A-Bug, which is a Kia Soul. But
Kia Soul.
Okay,
You would have a Kia Soul.
No, I would not have a Kia Soul. I can't fit in a Kia Soul. What the hell are you talking about? I'm 6'2". I'd be driving it like fucking L from Death Note with my knees in my goddamn chest.
I will say, the exact design of like tiny cars is really key, because there's stuff like smart cars, which are legendarily difficult, but as a very recently moving out former roommate, I feel like anytime you say ex-roommate, it implies something bad. Just, we're moving out, it's fine. Things are good. But, like, my roommate has a Fiat, and like we go grab groceries together and like sit in the Fiat, and like I'm 5'10", but my legs are a bit longer, so I'm almost like the detection algorithm. If I'm bothered, tall people are going to be bothered. If I'm not bothered, tall people probably won't.
Yeah.
And like
I consistently get the complaint that it's hard to get in and out of my car.
And that's the thing, you have a 4-door Honda Civic and it's tough to get in. The Kia with 2 doors, or not the Kia, Fiat with 2 doors, easy to get in. Smart cars and Mini Coopers, impossible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've been in your car. That's fine. Fucking, I had to go in the back seat of my buddy's VW. And that's not a seat I will ever get back into. I don't know how I got out of that. I genuinely don't know.
It's not as bad as the back of a cop car. Like,
yeah, it's not like a seat.
The seat is like really pushed up close to the front of like the driver's seats to the point where it's like it's a design choice. It's there so that like it's tough for you to place yourself in and resist and get up to shit. Like it's meant to restrain you, but like literally it's designed to remove all leg room.
The leg room wasn't the problem.
This is unnecessary.
The legroom wasn't the problem. The problem is I was in the back seat of a fucking car that is round. So I'm sitting there like, please don't go over a bump.
Oh my god. Break your fucking neck.
It was bad. It was really fucking bad.
It's gonna be really weird to say this, but like my dad has like a Dodge-ass truck, like a truck-ass truck, and it's a pain in the ass to sit in it just because the knee room is wrong.
Yeah.
You have a lot of leg room, you have a lot of front room, you have a lot of side room, you have a lot of up room. It's just the console is too far forward.
That is a very common problem in trucks.
And it's obscene. Like, you have so much space. Why are you making such a basic mistake? It's a truck. What do you need the glove for? Throw it in the back.
Exactly.
Like, we live in London and area, like, and as far as I know, also, like, Gabe, you're from Alberta, and Chelsea, you're from, like, Northways in Ontario. Like, y'all are also from the area of people who buy trucks for clout?
Yes.
None of them use the back! My mom had to convince my dad to buy a truck instead of getting another SUV because he keeps putting shit in the trunk of the SUV and the suspension isn't built for it. Meanwhile, everyone with the fucking truck is like, yeah, I put my backpack in there sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
Go on country roads.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if I want to throw my backpack in the back and go on a country road, I can go in a Subaru. Like, you don't need a truck, buddy.
Yeah, no.
Now, does your opinion change if you just take the whole back end of the truck, the whole bed just right out, and you just have just the chassis and the transmission hanging out the back?
I will say yes, because if you had the time to make such a decision, you probably know what you're going for.
My dad is the type of guy. He had a truck. He got a truck, and he does a lot of construction stuff. And it just didn't have the horsepower. It was like a Ford or whatever. And so we had to get like an even more powerful Ford.
God.
Because like he was just like hauling too much heavy stuff.
And that's the thing, is like I once got an argument with a couple of friends of mine, both of which are like the sort of people who can buy a truck they don't need kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, like, it's one of those things where one of them is, like, a former serviceman who's worked some trade jobs. Another one, like, works construction. But both of them, it's one of those things where it's, like, y'all are working for a corporation that provides you, outside of, like, basic tools and equipment, like, the materials.
Yeah.
You're not an independent contractor with a capital C contractor, you know? Like, and these guys would be like, no, yeah, you definitely need a $50K truck to work construction. It's like, no, you can show up to a construction job in a Fiat. You just need a place to put your tool belt. Like, if you actually have to haul shit in a truck, it's genuinely a question of when do I get a van? Like,
well, yeah, like that's just it, ain't it? Van, protect from the elements. Got those big old doors. You can put a mattress in there.
They have the most entertaining doors, which are the doors with the electric buttons that can just be like, ooh.
Yeah.
And
If
you
you're
know as a
probably,
kid,
like,
those were the most like fucking amazing things ever.
It's one of those questions where it's like, do you use your truck enough that you need to be able to have a locking van so that people don't steal your fucking tools?
Listen, the Punisher doesn't drive a pickup truck. He drives a van because that's where he puts all his guns, in the back in the van part, where he has a cool gun rack.
Speaking of guns and punishing and racks, let's all jump onto land. Are you guys ready to roll?
Yep.
Is there any other stuff you want to go through? We can do like prep talk. We can do talking about memes.
I need a rundown of the plan again. I forgot.
I leave that up to you.
In fairness, this is like a plan that's been a month in the making.
Yeah.
So the plan
You can consult the NPCs. They're like fully willing to talk to you, but until you ask, I'm leaving it up to you. If that makes sense.
Gabe's got it all written down.
I have the plan. I have my plan right here. I got some potato chip grease on it, but it's still legible.
That's a very Sun thing.
Yeah. That's a Sun vibe.
Okay, so the plan is, during the morning guard shift, when one boat is coming up to the docks, and there's another boat still out on patrol, Jane is going to fire an enchanted sort of explosive crossbow bolt through the window into the captain's quarters and ignite the bomb that I have placed under the captain's chair.
Question.
Yes. What's your question, soldier?
At exactly what point am I firing that arrow? Is it they land and the people and the guards are getting off?
Yes. What the boat has landed. It's because we need to storm onto that boat. So you got to wait until like the thing is down. People are walking onto the dock. People are coming onto the boat. Right at the point when they seem the most distracted, most confused, you're going to set off that bomb.
At this point, Tiana chimes in and goes, "Your window is basically like if they wouldn't have time to react from the bomb before we could storm the boat, we're good. If they've already landed and gone off the boat and they've started to drift away, but we could still storm, that's also good."
Okay.
So then, me and Tiana, and we're going to be hiding in the bushes, armed to the teeth. When the bombs explode, me, Tiana, and all of the workers who are able to fight are going to storm that boat. The explosion of the main boat is going to cause the two other boats docked directly in front of it. That should hit their magazines, and those three boats are going to go up in flames. You're going to be supporting us with cover fire up from the sniper's nest. And once we have that boat, we will set sail and try and help out the Bloodwine if they need help with their naval battle with the remaining boat. They probably won't, but it'd be nice to give them some support if they need it.
That does sound like the plan, yes.
Okay, that's the plan.
All right. So, Jane, you were in the, rock overlook sniper's nest, and then after last session decided to stay there as opposed to risking going out to the other sniper's nest. Other snipers...
Yeah,
Sorry?
I think that the issue, the reason I stayed was because I can only see the porthole from the sniper's nest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you currently have the angle. You spent a whole bunch of time basically setting your bedroll and gear out so that you're hidden, you've built a nest with a capital N. Everyone else, though, who's getting off the ship and at what time, whether it's the middle of the night, early morning, do you plan on getting off to start moving towards the location?
I think I was already with Jane.
You were already with Jane.
I
You're on the boat, I think.
I thought I spent the setup with Jane.
You were on the boat because you were commanding the tuna.
Right. Okay.
And I think the plan was for you to reunite with Jane.
Yes. That is the plan for me.
I think under the cover of night makes the most sense. After those bombs are placed, we head out. Maybe get a rest up against a tree, taking watches until morning. But me, Tiana, and Croquel are going to be heading out as soon as the Bloodwine is docked again.
Okay, so basically from the previous tight setup, you guys are continuing the momentum, going all the way to the camp, and then resting before this springs?
Yeah.
All right. In that case, based on the time window you have, I don't need you guys to roll or do any map shit, so you spend the time, you forage through the woods, but you've gone up and down a path that you've trod a few times, so it's easy to get there and back very quickly. You're actually just before dawn, where you're able to find out that Jane is not at the sniper's nest that you met at previously. You're able to identify Jane's location, and then with help, Croquel, would you want to get into Jane's sniper's nest, or would you want to go into the other sniper's nest? You don't have line of sight because you don't have sight, but you have range.
I need someone who I can communicate with, so I need to be with... Either I stay with Tiana in the group, or I stay with Jane. I need to be with someone so I can know what's going on.
Well, no, I mean, with all due respect, I think you're better off up with Jane, where it's going to be a little further away from direct action and
Fair enough.
a little safer.
It's one of those, like, tough to get there, tough to get out situations where you have to be led over a tough slope to get to where Jane is, and vice versa. You need to go over a tough slope to get out, is the thing.
Yeah, I think that's just the way it's gotta be, kind of.
Yeah.
Just...
All right. So this isn't something that necessarily requires excessive checks. You'd be at the same bar as everyone else for executing, but how do you get to the location?
I would say I would probably ask Tiana, who's, the stealthier of us. I don't want to be the one to blow our cover getting into position. So
Right.
Tiana's highly adept and very physically fit. She directs you to the sniper's nest, goes over the ridge with you, and over the ridge back out to reunite with Sun.
Yeah, and from there, I'm basically, just sitting on the ground being like, am I visible from any location? No? Okay, I'm going to stay here until shit hits the fan. Tell me what's going on!
It's one of those things where anyone else would constantly, because of their sight, be pressured to go, oh, well, I'm going to lean up, check what's going on. You're used to, okay, stay down, because there's no reason for you to get up. So, if anything, you're better to have in a sniper's nest than most other people.
What am I going to do?
What are you going to look at?
What am I going to do? Hear them? I can do that from this spot. It's fine.
In that case, we have Sun and Tiana, and we have Jane and Croquill as two different focal points of where this is going to go down. We have the ship coming in for after the explosion goes off. They are waiting for obvious signs of a massive fucking explosion,
Yep.
In which case, Sun and Croquill, you're in position. Sorry, I should say Jane and Croquill. Sun and Tiana, where are you going?
Well, the way I see it, we want to be as close to that boat as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sort of a clearing. And the boat that we want to get to, in my understanding, is the opposite side of the clearing from where Jane's sniper nest is.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we want to go all the way around the clearing to be as close as possible to that boat, so we're not running across the beach, and we can be right there in the thick of things.
Tiana isn't a sniper, but Tiana can work from the sniper's nest during the fight, during the opener. Tiana basically is not middle range, if that makes sense. Tiana can be at range, or Tiana can be up close, just not in the middle.
Yeah, I have a blunderbuss and a tower shield, so I feel like I want to be right in the kind of taking the brunt of the force for all of the people who are armed with axes. So I want to be kind of close, so I'm sort of the first thing they see coming out of the trees, so that I can kind of tank that.
So are you going to be alone, or do you want Tiana with you?
I would like Tiana with me.
Okay, so Tiana and Sun, you're bum rushing from the trees. We have Jane and Croquill from the sniper's nest. We have the three on the boat waiting for the detonation to come in and collect the wounded. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I am ready.
Yep.
Well, I have brought in a handy-dandy piece of analog equipment for this. I would like to introduce to you my assistant for this adventure, the toaster oven.
Okay.
Are you making toast now?
Just to be clear, can you hear this?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So, you are Sun and Tiana. You're waiting out in the brush.
Yep.
And Croquill and Jane, you're waiting in the sniper's nest. The ship.
So distracting.
Yeah, the three of them are in position. You can see the line, you have line of sight. You're ready for the explosion. Tiana and Sun, you are in the woods. You're waiting for when the ship approaches for the guard change. What do you do?
I am prepping my my tower shield with a little stand to get it stood up. My plan is to basically set it down and start firing at folks. So I'm ready to run out, plant it, and pow, pow, pow.
All right. So you and Tiana load up your weapons. You prep as many rounds as you can before going into the fight, and you're sitting and watching. Croquill and Jane.
Yes. I'd probably be sitting there being like, hey Jane, want to pass me a arrow or something? Like,
You've already enchanted my arrow.
Yeah, I know I've enchanted it, but like I could like enchant one of the other arrows so you could like blast a bunch of people instead of.
I'll give you my quiver. Yeah.
I'm just like, okay,
come
cool.
on.
I'm gonna take some like bolts out and start casting some runes on them. Just for
What runes?
Pain blasts.
All right, want to give me a roll?
All right. I feel like I have to add this up quick. Dice, stop spinning.
I love the irony of this because I know how much time is available. Period, end of
25.
sentence.
25.
25. You know that this is a task you can drop and ignore because you're prepped and everything else is extra. So you're just sitting there, like, exhaling, being leisurely. In particular, Croquill, you're used to being blind mage type person, so, like, it's almost like out of game, you run a character who like has a cat called Bait. You're used to being Bait, where you are capable, you have a useful role, but there's certain things you're long since used to trusting other people to deal with. Like, you just lie back and wait. Everyone else is sitting there having a fucking panic attack because they're waiting for when this shit makes stock, but you're waiting for someone to tell you anyways. You wait for people to tell you when the food's here. You wait for people to tell you when it's thundering out. So what? Jane, how are you?
I'm waiting on that ship. Crossbow at the ready.
All right. You have your crossbow like loaded. You have the bolt ready, one of the explosive bolts, and you're watching. You have line of sight. You've calculated the wind angle towards the through the captain's window into the captain's room. You're waiting and watching the other ship slowly approach. As a group, I want you to make a decision. Odds or evens? I'm rolling the die.
Evens?
Well, I guess I'll go with evens on that. I would normally say odds, but the group wins out.
Yep.
Peer pressure and whatnot.
All right. All of you are sitting there and waiting. Everyone involved, like the people you've made contact with before, no one seems to be able to make it to your position. Every one of the prisoners is unaware of the fact that this is about to go down. You haven't been able to make contact yet.
Yeah, this is true. There's going to be a lot of chaos.
Well, I mean, I'm saying this under my breath. We told them. We told them that there was going to be a big-ass explosion, and
I live for chaos.
You know what? Croquill kind of does too.
Listen, I got my tower shield. This baby's going to hold up to a lot of gunfire, and we got you at close quarters. You know, even if it takes him a couple seconds to rush us, I think we're going to be okay.
Now, odds or evens, again, as a group.
Odds.
All right, odds.
Odds.
All right. You guys know, in particular, approaching on like the ship that's coming to do the guard change. There's two guards that seem really well armed. You can tell at a distance, Jane. You can tell that based on your sniper experience, these are people that have been given higher quality arms. Sun, you and Tiana both kind of look at them and get the interpretation that Tiana tells you they're beefy, they're trained fighters. You get the impression, in particular, that they're probably people who have extra munitions and unusual weapons available to them.
Mm-hmm.
There's two of them.
Targets.
All right. Target them first.
Yeah.
Sun and Tiana, what are you up to?
saying like I'm able to target people.
Oh man, this is gonna be so good when she blows. Can't wait.
Remind me, you're thinking of your bombs. Remind me what the explosive situation is, what the chains are supposed to be.
So, explosive situation, first one is the initiator, and that's into the captain's desk. Second one's at the back, and that's right where the magazine is. So the initiator will...
Right, Jane.
Time to roll.
Thank God that thing was giving me anxiety. Like I'm sitting here trying to be calm, but I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here as a GM going, any second now. This is great for story, but my anxiety's not too good either.
Okay, that's a... Okay.
Oh, before you calculate, Croquill's elemental roll or ritual, I should say, is included in this before you do any multiplication.
Okay. So what was the roll for
the explosives? Oh God, I don't even remember. Probably 20 something.
Yeah, that would be do a new roll.
Okay.
It would be for your your enchantment on the crossbow bolt.
Yeah. But I rolled a 25 for the pain arrows, but I can't remember what this one was at all. So that is 10, 24.
24?
24. Okay. Odds or evens?
Evens.
All right. So, as you're looking and firing this shot off, the captain notices the bomb and bolts out of the captain's chair, grabbing basically a war horn. Want to give me the sniper roll?
Okay. So it was 25 plus 24, which is 49, plus 50, which is 99, doubled, which is 198.
All right. So you fire off this shot right as the captain goes and blows the horn. As this happens, you see everyone on shore goes to reach for their weapons. The people on the boat rush towards the cannons, grabbing their own weapons and looking around for where the threat is, but they don't have the time to react. You fire off the shot, it pierces through the window. You can see actually there's a misfire where the explosion goes off on the window, but the bolt itself hits the explosive. Either way, the explosive chains to hit the explosive underneath the captain's chair. The captain turns back briefly and, shocked, watches as the room goes up first. So there are 6 cannons on the ship, 3 per side. Do each of you guys want to roll 3d6 twice?
All right. That first
separately, keep in mind.
Okay. 11.
10 and 15.
14 and 11.
9 and 14.
Alright, so it was... What was the initial sniper shot?
198.
Alright, plus 10 and 14, right?
Mine was 10 and 15.
Alright, what else was there? 2 of the
14.
cannons detonate with their shells still loaded. The other one was a 14.
And an 11.
A third one goes off, and then one on the other side.
And then mine was 9 and 14.
A third cannon goes off, a little sputter. There's a case near that one that goes off. There should be one roll left that I'm missing. Another 3d6.
I gave 9 and 14. Then Chelsea gave 2 of 10 and 15.
And I gave 14 and 11.
Yeah.
Alright, so there's another 15 in there. The munitions room blows. Who wants to be the lucky bastard who rolls 16d6?
I
Me. Okay, you do it.
I don't have that many dice here, so I'm out.
16 d6?
Yep.
Okay. Man, this is like old Bloodwine.
I know.
Yeah. So while that's being calculated, right behind the captain's like wheel, Ken, do you want to roll 46 for the rear repeating cannon?
Okay.
And then Gabe, do you want to do the same for the front repeating cannon?
Sure, that's 46.
Yep. So far, you fired off the shot underneath the captain's chair, and now it's chaining throughout the boat. It's just managed to ignite the munitions room. The boat itself is going up like a fucking matchstick house.
19 for me.
I got a 13.
Oh, you're gonna have to give me a hot sec.
Okay, so without the munitions room going, you've cracked 300. There is a plume of flame. This is enough to get both the forward and rear mines going. Ken and Gabe, do you want to roll 66 each? Or sorry, Gabe, you would know what the number is. What needs to be rolled? It's your munitions roll for like a 6x explosive.
Okay, yep, so that's a level 6 bomb. I have 4 dots in munitions and 10 in physical.
Alright, so that's another 16d6 plus 40 for each of you.
Okay, I need to go get more dice.
All right.
I need to get a pencil here.
16d6. All right.
So all of the cannons on the docks, all 6 of them at least, the forward and the rearward repeating cannons have both gone off. The bomb underneath the captain's chair has gone off. We have the magazine that's currently shredding. There's a chain reaction because the protective shielding's been weakened, and it's cracking through and igniting all the gunpowder within.
Yes!
Oh, I'm gonna have to clean that up later. Just dump out all the dice that I have. Or remove the Star Wars dice from there, because they're not very helpful.
At this point, the impact of everything is creating a massive conflagration. There's a flare initially, and then the sound of the impact. I heard
53.
53 for the magazine. There's a boom. You can see there's a bunch of like shrapnel bits of the mast, especially that go almost exclusively upward with this. The area around seems to lighten in the water, almost as if the area is filling with oxygen.
Okay.
I rolled a 96.
Is that the forward or rearward bomb?
That would be the forward one, I believe.
Alright, the forward one goes off. You have... I'm going to wait for that, actually.
That's a good roll. I see so many 6s.
This chains to the... Also, I just want to say I had tolerances for like where certain detonations go off. You're well underway. The forward ship goes off. There's 8d6 for the ship itself. Who wants to roll that?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll see, Will.
So I'm still rolling for 16d6 plus 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 64, 104.
Yeah!
1, 2, 3, 4. I rolled 4 6s and like 4 5s, 4 4. Like I rolled a fuck ton of like really high dice on that.
You cracked 500 by a long shot. The front ship goes up. The rear one goes up as well. Want to roll me another 8d6 for the rear ship?
Yes, I do.
I keep
So both
getting
the ships-
distracted.
Okay, and that is a 8d6 is it's a measly 22.
I got a
So-
25 for my 8d6.
Alright, the forward and rearward ships, similarly, there's an initial kind of dull douche in response to the sea mines as the munitions room starts to go up on each of them. After that, all of the cannons start to go up. Boom, 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 one after another. Do each of you want to roll me 3d6 4 times in a row?
Sure.
It would be my pleasure.
I'd love to.
I didn't know how many dice I had in my collection because I'm not a goblin like Gabe. So I went and grabbed every single dice that I could physically see, and I even grabbed the old dice that we tried to use for like showing our rolls that are just fucking massive. And I want to roll them now with one blue die.
This is what it's for. This is what it's for.
Oh my god.
This justifies my purpose of yet more dice. They are on sale and they look so pretty. Alright. I have my 4.
I'm still working. Okay.
10, 12, 12, 13.
Oh no, I feel like I might be the odd one on this one.
All right, a bunch of the cannons start going off on the forward and rearward ships.
I got 9, 10, 8, and 14.
Oh god, my rolls are a wet fart in comparison.
Central's in the middle ship still going off, and the random ones in the middle and on the front and back. More explosion stuff going off. This thing is a conflagration, and all the guards are transfixed. The last of the rolls.
10, 7, 9, and 4.
4?
I rolled 2 1s and a 2! Like I said, it's a wet fart of a roll.
Alright, so at last there's like boom, boom, boom. You think that finally it's done, and there's like a boom, boom, boom. And then at last, you're all reeling in. Jane, you and Croquill are getting ready after that massive explosion to react to everything. Tiana and Sun, you're rushing in, and there's one last little... There's one final cannon goes off, half submerged in the water. That explosion was 720 damage.
Woo! That's some good shit.
Good night on the rain.
That's what happens when you fucking plan and wait for shit to blow the fuck up.
All 3 of the ships go up like a fucking wildfire. Did you guys see the Mythbusters episode where they show like it's a pyrotechnics thing? You do like a barrel full of sawdust as a flame plume. It's one of those. Like it's just the fire goes up, it goes out. As the sea mines go up, you see the sea underneath go an eerily pale blue as it oxygenates, and then there's a dark black powder like smoke upwards as the bubble itself recollapses and surges up. Every bit of the guards, like they're all transfixed, and you see right as that happens, one of the guards, or one of the prisoners in the middle, John, he takes out a pistol, tracks one of the guards by surprise. A couple of the other people start firing off shots, not quite as effective. There's axes being swung. The ship full of guards that's unloading starts to surge towards the docks. Half of them kind of look back towards the ship, back forwards towards everyone. There's 2 of the guards that rush toward the ships and start prepping heavy weapons. The rest of them start tangling with the prisoners, half caught off guard. Combat starts.
Combat starts! Woo! Love it!
Yeah. As fast as I can.
What a great way to start combat!
We don't do many ambushes. That was... We need to do more ambushes.
If you're gonna spend 2 sessions setting up this moment, it's gonna pay off.
Or it's gonna be the biggest fuck you ever.
Good shit.
Like the end of the last campaign where you were like, alright, let's just wait for a fair trial, and then that didn't happen.
I'm gonna like almost in a dry humor sort of way turn towards Croquill and be like, the bombs went off.
Now, Croquill, you can't see. Describe to me the other senses you might have available, especially as a mage.
All I sense is a shit-eating grin.
Yeah, you heard it go off. You felt it go off. The fish felt it go off. The
Yep.
ground felt it go off.
Yep.
If anything, you taste it go off. You think you know.
But other than Jane's like crossbow firing, like the sound of Jane's crossbow firing, I had no idea what was going to happen. So I'm sitting there casting runes on her bolts, and then all of a sudden I hear tsk, like tsk, and I'm just like and then
Quill, want to roll? This doesn't count as any of your turn actions. Want to roll ritual?
okay.
And tell me if the result is odd or even.
Okay. Well, it's odd. Definitely, because I rolled 4 4s and a 1. So, it's a 23.
Alright, so you're in the middle of finally finalizing the last blast when this detonation goes off, and the bolt in your hand just fizzles off with magical energy into the sunset from you just jumping out of surprise. Sun and Tiana.
Oh, I am running out. Now I am kind of like close enough to the dock. Would I be able to get behind the sort of where the main brawl is going to try and rush the dock, or is the dock like full of soldiers I'd have to battle through?
So currently the stage of the project is that they're getting the prisoners to clear land. There's no dock per se, so what the boat has to do is it has to moor up, which gives you an excessively opening here. Basically, it has to moor up. They have to get everyone to jump off the ship and then wade through the water to get in. So at this point, everyone has waded through the water. You're able to come in at an oblique angle. Imagine there's a big sea, like here.
Yeah.
Everything is happening in the middle. You're coming in here. Jane and Croquill have a firing angle here. And then if this is half a circle, the other half of the circle just blew up.
The win. Well, in that case, some of the soldiers are still trying to get onto the boat to arm the heavy cannons and stuff. I want to stop that if I can. Like, are there soldiers still in the water to contend with, or are they kind of all out on the beach?
So you start running towards the ship. Tiana throws a dagger. You see, like, one of the guards go, like, lunging with a sword at you and then kind of falter. Tiana throws another dagger. There's another one that kind of clutches at himself. He's still going. He starts reaching for his weapon. Tiana's prepping her rifle. What do you do?
In that case, I'm pulling out my shield to guard Tiana as we make our way to the boat. Got shield in one hand, one shot in the shotgun in the other, and I'm basically preparing. Whoever comes the closest, I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah, as a gunsmith, tell me about the dynamics, mechanics, and design of your shotgun. This is your baby, right?
Oh yeah, this is my baby. I have custom outfitted it. It has that underbarrel grenade launcher, and this is a boarding weapon. This is designed for you're on a boat and some asshole comes close to you. It's huge bore, huge shot, not a lot of range, but that's why it can fire grenades.
What's the action on it?
The action. Oh, this is definitely like a. You fire this thing, you have to swivel the barrel. And then cram things in, and then like swivel it back around.
All right.
I'm not trusting no hinges to support the caliber of this thing.
Yeah, you don't want to sacrifice your perfect short-range blow because you fine-tuned it, and even though it's extremely imprecise, it's imprecise the way you need it. So as people are coming up, do you want to roll a weapon roll?
I would love to. That is a 19 plus. Oh my god, this is a very good roll. 19 plus 15 is 34.
34. All right, so you quickly like swivel this out. You actually have enough that like there's a moment where you think you're going to be able to like what's the term? Hip fire. You pause, you wait for someone to get into the right opening, and then you blow. The one that Tiana hit with the dagger goes down. You see Tiana go and get a second dagger, shove both of them back in like holsters, and then tuck behind your tower shield, getting ready for another shot. A couple of the soldiers are circling around on both sides. There's another one who's about to man a cannon on the ship itself.
I want to shoot the cannon guy.
All right, give me a roll.
Will, is there anyone still in the water?
Roll Druid, just passively, doesn't count as an action.
$27.
You know those reachers, the things that like you as a tuna took out so they couldn't attack Gabe?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping was in the water.
You wouldn't know this, but for dramatic irony's sake, there's one soldier who's just lining up a rifle, has a bit of an oblique angle, and is aiming at Tiana from behind the tower shield. Your reacher reaches up. You're able to use this. Do you want to roll, use this as an attack roll?
Yeah.
There's a lurch, and the guy actually lurches, misses the shot, fires into empty air, and then falls into the water and gets dragged underneath.
I rolled a 32 to shoot at the cannon guy.
With a 32, you shoot at the one in the cannon. He flubs the shot and reacts to getting shot, but is still alive and kicking. You see this one running on below decks. Turns cycle round.
All right. Well, I am using all of my available movement to move closer to the ship, still keeping my shield up for soldiers attacking me, and because I can't really reload my gun with a tower shield, I'm pulling out a ball-peen hammer, and whoever gets close gets smacked.
All right, want to give me a weapon roll?
Yeah.
That wasn't as good a roll. That's okay. That is 10 plus 17, so 27.
27. So the one that was dragged under just desperately lurches up from the water, grabs onto you. You see a blade come up towards you real quick, and you just crunch. That's a square hit. As that happens, there's a moment where Tiana opens a hand, getting ready to reload your shotgun. She passes you the loaded rifle for now.
Yeah, sure. I'll switch out.
All right. As the battle rages on, from the sniper's nest, you see that, on the shore where the prisoners are fighting with the guards are starting to gain the upper hand. There's a lot of wounded who are moving their, making their way away or trying to make it towards other people to get them out of the fight. You see, however, that, John is in the middle of a coughing fit. He isn't really in fighting condition. There's someone else, however, in the middle of the fray who's, snapping necks and cutting throats. Just like how before there were a few people who stuck out like a sore thumb because they're not supposed to be at a prison camp, there's some people who stick out here like a sore thumb because they're not supposed to be unsecured.
Good. Right. Crowquill, is there anything? Can you do any? Is there anything that you can do from here?
If you aim a blast, I can fire a blast, but I don't know where they are.
I guess the guards would be pretty close to the prisoners, eh?
Aim a little bit far back.
So anybody else at this distance wouldn't be able to do much, but Jane, you're a sniper. You have a ranged weapon. You could basically get Crowquill to just grab onto the handle at the front as a basis and then aim based on that.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. I'm specifically telling you this thing is going to hit like a cannon, so aim a little bit back.
Yeah. I'll aim for away from the prisoners, if there's any guards that are like on the sidelines, that sort of thing.
Give me a roll.
Wait. Elemental, I only have 3d6.
So, Gabe, while other people are rolling, want to give me odds or evens?
I would love to. I'm going with evens, and it rolled a 3. Damn it.
All right.
So that is a 20, and since I have the artillery benefit, I'm rolling for the 2d6 in the area around the blast.
Perfect.
Which
so
is
20,
going to be,
and then there's a second area?
Yeah, and that's another 9 damage in the outer area.
What?
All right. Croquill, you wouldn't know this, but Jane, you see that there's 1 or 2 prisoners, stronger ones, that dive out of the way mercifully from the blast. There's a group of guards that are moving around to the edge of the area. You're about to pick off a group near the center, and then you see them last minute. You nudge a bit and then give Croquill the kind of jab to fire off the shot. You hit a bunch of guards that are trying to flank around the center. All of them, what kind of damage?
I was going to say pain.
All of them, it's not something you're used to because there's no firing ka-chunk, whether it's a bow or a crossbow or a rifle or a shot shell. You're used to a kick. This one, there's no kick, but you see the impact as a bunch of people clutch at themselves and twist for a second. They stabilize, though. Most everybody's okay in this group here.
And then I'm going to be like, also I made the pain bolts.
Okay. I guess I will then fire a
It's
shot.
like, these will have the same effect.
So there's 2 of Crowquill's explosive bolts, which I guess would be not explosive. They'd be fire, right? Or force?
Fire. I believe
Fire.
I made them, because we needed them to ignite. So yeah, they'd be fire.
So there's 2 fire, 1 poison. 1 pain, rather.
2 fire, 1 pain. Okay, I'm looking for... Are either, those guys, big, beefy guys with the nicer weapons, are they still up and moving about?
You can see one of them focusing in on one of the prisoners who seems to be a stronger fighter, singling him out. He starts rushing in for an attack with a... You see him actually grab a blade from another soldier's, belt, basically, to run for an attack.
I want to shoot that guy.
All right. Give your roll.
That was pretty fancy. I'm I try to organize them into 5s.
Oh, I organized them into 10s.
Well, if it's easy like that.
If it's easy. When you roll 16d6, it becomes very easy to organize by 10s. You have a lot of options to shift things around.
So, Sun, you and Tiana are currently rushing towards the ship. You have an opening. Nobody is on the ship right now.
Yeah. Are we close enough that I could give Tiana a
Mm-hmm.
Alright, that's what I'm doing.
Alright, you give Tiana a hoist, and she takes a point where the stern is, starting to fire at the various soldiers. You don't have an angle for the cannons right now.
Not even the forward aft, the forward one? That swivel?
The forward and rear.
You're right.
The forward and... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're currently looking around. There's a basic, this is a ship that has one more or less even... what's the term for the top of the ship where you walk with open air?
Deck?
Yeah, it has one even deck with the stern at the back, and then you have to go down into the belly of the ship. There's a couple of cannons that are all unmanned. None of them have an angle. The stern itself is unmanned. You don't see anything open. There's just a hatch downwards.
Now, was there somebody was going for a cannon on this ship and he got shot? Did he perish?
As far as you can tell, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna start climbing up. I'm assuming there's some ropes or rigging, or maybe Tiana will give me a hoist. And from there, I'm just gonna start taking shots at folks up from I'll set up my tower shield, ka-chung right up at the bow, and just start taking shots.
All right. You make your way up, you set up your tower shield for extra defense, and you start taking shots. As that happens, your tower shield's wide enough that Tiana takes, like, shelter behind the same tower shield to attack the people at the bay. You guys are watching the fight go down. The guards are currently on even footing with the prisoners. The wounded have managed to escape towards one side. The guards haven't taken note of them. That being said, because the wounded have escaped, the guards are starting to outnumber the prisoners.
I got a 35 to shoot the big beefy dude.
All right. You see one of the stronger fighters going towards a couple of the prisoners, but you manage to embed a shot. At this point, you actually see this guard see you and realize that you're a sniper out of range, and this guard starts to hide underneath other guards and prisoners to make sure you don't have an angle. The other one's still exposed.
Now, that one that's hiding, do I have an angle on him?
As long as you act fast.
Alright, in that case, I would like to use my Musketeer benefit, which allows me to push somebody 5 squares if it hits. And I'm going to try and hit him so he stumbles out of cover so that Jade has an angle on him.
Alright, give me a roll.
Alright.
You see me shoot a guy, he goes for cover, and you're like, oh no.
Oh, no. You don't get
Listen,
covered,
buddy.
sir.
No.
No. Okay, that is a 30 plus 10 plus 6 is a 46.
Damn.
Alright. Remind me, what weapon is this with?
This is with the rifle that Tiana gave me.
Alright, so at this point, you're used to, the black powder firearm style. You have someone who's the reloader with you. Tiana's helping you reload and fire off shots if it is advantageous. So you grab the rifle as that one's reloaded. You prep. You see there's a crossbow bolt that nicks into the shoulder of one of the heavies. The heavy, goes low, and you can see the heavy kind of serpentining between prisoners. There's a bit of a shitty grin, and you're like, now, and you fire off the shot. The heavy, rolls, and with a surge of, blood and a spatter, rolls out of the group. Jane, you see this one standing back up. It's the start of the round again.
Shoot him again.
I'd also like to just start hexing the guards. just they're hexed. Everyone gets
Give me a
hexed.
roll.
I don't roll for that. What kind of roll do you want me to roll for that?
Just give me a ritual roll for flavor.
Okay, ritual roll for flavor, fine. That's
35.
Alright. As the guard that was shot by you and then Sun kind of rolls out of the group, you see this one, stabilize and go for a knife, and you fire off a last crossbow bolt. You see him kind of, turn. You're prepping for this. He surges, and that's at the moment that you make connection, and he goes down with the bolt.
29.
That guy's having a bad.
He's having a real bad day.
Yeah.
Alright. With a 29, Croquill, you're sitting there. It's almost like you're a musician waiting for the right moment to pluck a chord. You're peering, your eyesight isn't reliable, but you're peering into the ethereum, and there's moments of tension that you ignore, you worsen, or you pluck. And there's one that you choose to yank. As this happens, you see in the middle of the crowd, John, the poor lifelong criminal cancer patient, going to lunge at someone with a knife and miss. The guy rushes up with a club, and then you see John actually slash, and the club cracks in two. With a bit of surprise, John reaches into his pocket, ignites a bit of an agent, and there's a flame that kind of spreads over that guard who's clutching at himself before another inmate takes him down. The inmates are taking control, but there's still guards here and there.
Well, I'm going to tell Tiana, now listen here, check below deck, make sure there's no stragglers. I'll hold them up from up here.
Alright. Want to give me a weapon roll?
I would love to.
And specify the weapon. You're at both ranges, so it's what your choice is.
I'm taking back the shotgun that's Tiana loaded for me, and is the second big boy? Can I see him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm aiming at him, and again, gonna try and knock him off balance. And oh my god, this is a terrible roll! Oh no! No. Okay, well that's 7 plus 10 plus 5 plus 10 is... I'm giving me calculator 7.
Ooh.
32.
You rolled a 7 with a 46?
What?
You rolled
A 46? No, but 2 of my dice added up to 7.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a bad roll.
Yeah, no, it's the bonus 2d6 damage I get.
Yeah, okay.
I was hoping for more, but...
Alright, so you, sit there with a shot ready. You don't see that there's an opening, so on instinct, you take a moment, swivel around your barrel, you get another bit of shot ready. There's an opening, you fire. You see that there's someone who hits someone with a force blast. They kind of surge through the air, and like a big clay pigeon, you kind of crack them in the middle and then load a second shot. What about Croquill and Jane?
Is it the same turn as it was last time?
New turn.
New turn? Okay. I'm looking for specifically, guards that look... Is there still the second beefy guard?
The second beefy guard is currently falling through the air.
Oh.
You could make it like in whichever Injustice, where they're doing all crazy shit. Like he's throwing an exploding arrow under him, so he lands on it and gets blown back into the air.
Wave dash.
Wave dance. Wave dash, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I'm looking for specifically guards that seem more well armed, guards that are doing more for their team.
All right, so you look at the back of the group. At this point, the guards are thinning out. There's a few of them that have odds or evens.
Evens. Do you want me to roll it?
Yeah, go for it.
6.
All right, there are a few guards that have surrendered, and you can see the prisoners aren't necessarily being harsh with them per se. The rest of them are starting to cluster towards the forest, escaping from the group. Obviously, based on bearing, some of them are just trying to get to cover and not get shot. One of them, however, is actively trying to pick off as many people as possible.
I'm going to kill that guy.
Give me a roll. Clackety clackety, clickety clackety. Big rolls, big rolls.
34.
All right. So this one, behind cover, you see load a shot, fire it, load another shot, and is kind of sitting there going, okay, wait for it. You fire off a shot, is waiting for it, and then you pick him off.
Fucking peek me, bruh!
At this point, you see one of the guards get stripped of weapons, and then shortly after the guard kind of goes, all right, okay, whatever, and starts to stand down. The altercation is done. There's one ship ready at port. You see the bilge water after the explosion earlier just now starting to enter the bay, I should say.
Perfect.
Well, has the bilge water engaged the other ship, or are they finished engaging the other ship?
You do not have that information.
We're assuming at this point, if they're coming back, they should have finished their engagement.
Well, we should probably get down there and sort this out then.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I leave the sniper's nest.
Right.
I am going to work with Tiana to finish clearing the ship, make sure there's no stowaways.
So you're getting down there, just starting to clear with Tiana. You read a bit of body language. Tiana is obviously comfortable, like Tiana just finished doing the sweep. Tiana comes up to you with a box and opens it and goes, "Check it out." I think they're marked, so we have to alter them, but she opens it. It's a bunch of little thin sheets of paper with really intricate printing. Imperial bills. Payroll.
You need some alterations on inked documents?
This was an advertising opportunity.
Q Sand Raider Crowquill on top of the hill with their staff, just
with
So anybody want to roll me odds or evens?
I'll roll odds.
Okay.
I rolled a 5. Success.
Odds. Where do you want to go? Crowquill specifically, not the party. Or even if it doesn't come down to Crowquill, have it come down to Ken. Do you want to go back to where the shit was or away from the shit?
Like, what do you mean by back to where the shit was? Like, towards where the fight was?
Like, broader scale, like Westwatch and all that.
Oh, me? I want to get into some shit still.
Still got some shit stirring to do.
All right. So in that case, Jane and Crowquill both at the same time. Do you guys want to give me 2 sequential Grace or Brawn, and then Grace or Delicate?
Doesn't really matter. Fuck.
Specify for flavor.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and roll Grace and then Delicate and then Grace and then Delicate. So that was a 1 and then a 6.
Oh. Okay. I got Grace 20.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled both the best that I could have rolled and the worst that I could have rolled.
Sometimes that's how she shakes out.
Grace 14.
All right. So, Jane, you give a nice big old leap. You extend one hand, you have a grip. You extend another, you wait for Crowquill. Crowquill, you just you take a moment going, oh fuck, what's the upward direction of this plane? You leap, hopefully, you catch Jane, who directs you to a ledge. You're like, ah shit, okay. At this point, you go over the edge, you direct the location, you slide down, you're going, fuck. You hear Jane land, you immediately process where that is with relation to you, you go, oh shit, you land, you're good. You're back out into the forest, you're away from the sniper's nest.
Nice. 1.
I'm surprised there wasn't like a couple of rolls a la Gabe's old character, Sam.
Damn.
Oh, I assure you, your roles were taken care of by Jane.
Perfect.
I caught you, don't worry.
All right. At this point, the fight has faded enough that all of you cluster back towards the ship. By the time you're there, there's a guard who's obviously like some young recruit who doesn't want to get into a fight, who gets that people are in a bad situation, who doesn't want to be here. There's one Imperial soldier who's really uncomfortable, but obviously is an ally in the faintest sense. The Bilgewater slowly moors inside the bay. There's 2 ships that... There's no pier here, so no one's able to dock, but you're able to slowly move people out onto the ships.
How are we looking in terms of wounded? Is anybody in, like, serious medical urgency that...
There are currently 2 people who are critical in critical condition. As mentioned beforehand, you were given the number of 10. There's now 11 wounded based on like gunshot wounds.
Okay.
That being said, you're basically good. I presume at this point you're like prepping the wounded, all the healthy are getting onto the Imperial ship, you're coordinating who's going where. You start getting counts. The in terms of where ships are going, there are 3 people who want to go to Westwatch, and there's 1 person who wants to go to East Landing.
All right, well, Westwatch and East Landing. Okay. Well, I'm more concerned. What are we going to do with these 2? And I'm kind of pointing at the soldiers there. We cool?
Both of them kind of shrug, and they're like, you get an impression of like, we're not going to cause problems, but for the love of God, don't kill us.
Oh, no, we don't. We're not murderous psychopaths or nothing. We just want to do a little stunt, you know.
All right.
Kicking up dirt, you know.
Yeah.
Little advertisement for Canon Knee and Son.
So currently there are 2 ships. There's the SS Bilgewater, and there's the Imperial ship that's being taken over. The Imperial ship has more internal room that's being taken up by healthy people, because they have like more soldier bunks, more armory space, that kind of thing. You guys are a adventurer / freight / smuggling ship, so you have a little bit more room, but a lot of it is set aside for the apparatus in the munitions room. You're able to take the wounded, as aforementioned.
Yeah,
you can take on a couple more people. Do you bring the people for Westwatch, or do you bring the people for East Landing?
Wait, so what's in Westwatch and what's in East Landing?
So Jane, for you specifically, Westwatch is where you had an apartment. Technically, you've been evicted. You paid the last month rent already. You don't live there anymore, but you live in Westwatch.
Okay.
East Landing is completely virgin territory for you guys. And does everybody want to roll me a vaguely criminal-related roll? Not necessarily criminal. Money-making.
Okay, that's barter for me.
That'd be deceive for me.
That's smuggling for me.
I got a 7.
I got a 17.
Got a 21.
Well, the thing is, East Landing and Westwatch provide unique opportunities. Westwatch is a distinctly conservative, borderline fascist state here, where you can get a lot of both ethical pluses and criminal opportunities in terms of providing things like gender drugs and that kind of stuff to these areas. In terms of East Landing, that's where you're going to be able to do big purchases. Those are areas that are really, really rich in ink blood, really, really rich in a lot of other drug enterprises. Remind me, we had a 7 in deceit. We had a 21 in smuggling. What was the last one?
A 7 in a barter.
And 17 for deceive. And I will say, for like decision, we still have 10 gold of sugar in our hull.
Right.
Well, we might have more of that. I have 10 gold.
Yeah, so both cities would accept sugar at approximately the same rate because it's about distance from where it's produced, and they're the same distance in very different directions. When it comes to Westwatch, if you were to sell sugar, you're probably selling sugar to nobles with very distinct tastes. When it comes to sugar in East Landing, you're probably trying to pass it off as genuine on just like the broad spectrum market. It's a legal good. It's not necessarily a highly sought after good. But in East Landing, you have a lot more open opportunities. Westwatch's government is very noble. It's about bloodlines. You're either in or out. East Landing's kind of imperial government is just as exclusionary and destructive, but it's not based on blood and heritage as much as it is about meritocracy.
Well, I'm thinking East Landing.
Thinking East Landing. That's my vote.
For this little stunt here, I don't think I want to go back to Imperial territory for.
Oh, East Landing is the Imperial capital.
East Landing is Imperial.
That's Westwatch was Imperial.
No, Westwatch is...
Oh, the Westwatch. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Westwatch.
This is actually an important lore note. When it comes to Imperial, there's 2 different empires that would come up, and this is the sort of thing where, like, people in-world would fuck up these terms in political discussions.
Yeah.
There is the Prosperite Empire, which is a like theocratic fascist movement from the humans, Elfborn and Dwarfborn, and that comes from the old Prospera. Since the war, which was about a couple decades ago, they've broken up the former empire into a few distinct kingdoms that are kept like governmentally separate by post-war sanctions, basically.
Okay.
In terms of after the war, the empire with capital E is basically the Estran Empire. It's not like the area around Westwatch where it's all about race and nobility and bloodwine. Here, it's more about where you come from, what you did, who your connections are, that kind of thing.
Right.
We show up just being like, we just blew up 6 Imperial ships, what up?
Yeah, let's head to Wastewatch then.
I'm thinking East Landing. I think, look, we got a whole bunch of Imperial notes. The last place that they think that we're going to go is another Imperial place.
Well, and it is a good place to trade Imperial notes. Yep. Yeah, let's do it.
The trade for trading counterfeit money in East Landing is a lot riskier compared to Westwatch, where it's completely unprofitable, so East Landing it is.
Yeah.
And they're not counterfeit, they're totally real. We just
now, where are
these
two soldiers going?
Good question. Both of them are Imperial soldiers. They're kind of considering themselves your prisoners.
We could just strip them of their weapons and have them walk to
I'm assuming they don't have any weapons. Like, wouldn't we have taken those off?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, pretty much just, like, take them of their good stuff and then just be like, alright, so, civilization is that way. Have fun.
Do all three of you want to give me a vaguely socially related role for figuring out where people go?
Oh, yes, I would love to.
I will roll understand.
Roll. No, I'll do an understand roll with 0 social, and I got a 4.
Alright, so 4 on understand.
-7 for an understand.
This group is cursed. That is going to be 16 for an understand. Wow, that math was surprisingly more difficult than I thought it would be.
Alright, so Croakwill, you sit there and you're like, huh? And you're about to say something, and then Sun comes up and he goes, all aboard for East Landing! And you go, ah, shit. And then Jane comes up completely unnecessarily and goes, that's right, East Landing or bust! And you're like, okay, and you watch the crowd dynamics as there's literally like way too many people for the other ship and like 3 for yours, and you suddenly pause and go, and the wounded. And you're listening for like where crowds go. Suddenly there's a surge of voices that come for your ship. It's like, okay, I think we got the right number of people.
Where are the soldiers headed?
The soldiers are headed for East Landing. They're going on your ship.
All right. I'm gonna as they're headed over, I'm gonna say, leave your weapons at the door, there, folks.
I'll give you a moment to think about the wounded, the Imperials, and any other people who come aboard your ship. Keep in mind, there's John. There was at least 1 hyper-capable, prisoner. And then there's 2 adventurer prisoners, I'd say, that you noted.
Okay.
So, I mean, John's probably going to be among the wounded.
Yeah.
He's sort of dying. We can take care of the ship ourselves, so it would probably make sense to send the capable ones with the other ship. Now, what I want to do with the Imperials...
They're specifically coming on our ship.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. What I want to do with the Imperials is just say, nah, there's the forest. Have fun.
Oh, don't be like that. You know, we beat them fair and square. They're not going to cause no trouble.
I wouldn't exactly call that fight fair, but okay.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We leveled the playing field, if anything.
I'd say we did more than level it.
Blew it up! Sky high!
We leveled it. Yes, Sun does not understand why the soldiers would be bitter. Like...
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Why would they be angry about, losing to, like, 6 people?
Fucking random adventurers!
6 ships for 6 people!
And the thing is, we have no skin in this game.
Yeah, we have no reason to be doing this.
We have no reason to do this at all!
Like, I'm expecting Sun to be on top of his shit, like, on top of, the fucking Bilgewater, just shouting at the top of his lungs, "This raid on imperialism brought to you by Kananye and Sun."
Exactly! That's exactly it! Just wanted to flex a bit!
I fucking love it. Like, we literally, there's absolutely no reason for us to be doing this. It's only costing us. And we have no skin in the game. There's nobody there that we care about. Like, it's not doing anything for us.
Right.
Like, man, it'd be real fucking cool if we
just blew up a bunch of imperialist ships.
Every single person Sun has talked to has left the conversation with and don't forget to purchase Kananye and Sun ammunitions.
So I feel like I came here with both the perfect amount and absolutely not enough context. I came in with all of you going, okay, so we're not making a fucking dime for this. We have no skin in the game. There's no reason for us to do this. We are completely fucked and putting our necks on the line for this. And then I didn't get a subject.
Oh, the subject was just this entire raid itself.
Yeah.
Like, this entire thing itself, we had no reason.
Yeah.
For full transparency, I as a GM am taking pride in the fact that I got a party to do a 2-part heist for nothing.
For no reason!
We just wanted to blow up some imperialist
I
ships.
just thought they were big enough bastards.
For one reason, and that's to promote Kananye and Sun munitions.
Yeah.
It's a political, an advertising stunt.
And
Just to prove we could.
It's a political and or advertising stunt.
Yeah.
It's like, and everybody, the thing is, we're all like, yeah, it was an advertising stunt. But secretly we're all like, but did you see those ships blow up?
Yeah. Listen, my goal, my hopes, or Sun's hope at least, is that this will become a thing of legend that will be passed around like wildfire, and the name Kananye and Sun will be attached to it.
Like, I'm expecting us to set out to sea, and then Sun just go, "Oh right, we were supposed to make guns for Soth," and then just be like, "All right, we got to do the same thing with the border patrol now."
Same plan.
We're gonna blow up the blockade.
Fucking
So who's going where? There's a bunch of wounded, a bunch of people who are doing well. There's a bunch of people who are adventurers versus civilians.
Well, I feel like the wounded need a place where they will be comfortable. Could we set up something in the hold where it's going to be like, I don't know.
All of you have 1 bunk each, so you have 4 bunks. Those could basically be like tending bunks.
Yep.
From there, you also have like the kitchen table, absolutely if needed. And even though all of you are kind of not so great at anything, Rooker is a doctor. He's a paramedic.
All right. Well, I say we give up our bunks to the wounded, especially the ones in critical condition. That makes the most sense to me. And
Jane's gonna like rub her toe into the boards at that and be like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, Crowquill's also just kind of like, fine.
To lock my munitions room. Make sure that's locked.
Oh god, yes, please lock your munitions room.
It's not like we have any powder left anyway.
Just a bunch of bottom emojis like, okay, people can come into the ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like just the rest of the hold is just going to be human soup. Whatever bedrolls we have laid out, and whatever Now,
Did you get
guys-
the word to the other ship about Ken and Ye and Sun? You gotta be walking around there. You know?
yeah, no, like as people were loading up, I was definitely shouting it out.
Ken and Ye and Sun, fire munitions. This ambush brought to you by Ken and Ye and Sun.
Yeah,
All right. So you guys peel away from the docks. The other ship is off on their own territory. You're getting the fuck out of Dodge with your people. You have almost all the wounded. There's about 12 of them right now. You have a couple of people who are bound for East Landing. And you have two, for lack of a better word, adventurers on your ship until you drop them off at the East Landing. They're people who are capable of operations with you. There is John, someone that you've met a few times, he's more experienced than you, is the best way of putting it. But at the same time, this dude, based on the fact that you're like taking care of a bunch of wounded, he makes it clear that he is like a recently released cancer patient on remission. They arrested him right as he left the cancer ward. Like, this dude is sick as shit right now. He's gonna be fine, but it's not a good time right now.
Oof.
The other person you have with you is someone by the name of Bleary. You get the impression that this person is immensely competent. That they might be a threat to you, or might not, or might be an asset. End of sentence.
I'm down for that.
All right.
I think you got out.
Soldiers. Oh, I was just saying, like, we haven't tied up the soldiers or anything. They're just kind of mingling with everybody else. Like,
I mean,
Do you let them?
I mean, that's a question for everybody else. Like, I'm assuming.
Not gonna bother.
Okay, so is that a question that you pose to everyone else?
Yeah, you know what? I kind of get up as we're moving. I'm assuming everyone's kind of either below decks, kind of gathering, trying to figure out what on earth they're going to do for the rest of the journey. It's like, all right, now I know things have kind of been sudden, and thanks for helping out with this rescue. Couldn't have done without you. We do have two Imperial soldiers with us. I don't want to make.
One of the Imperial soldiers is starting to work as a paramedic on some of the wounded. The other one doesn't have the appropriate skills, but is socially appropriately like making sure to keep safe away from everyone else. As you peel away from the docks and start heading inevitably northward away from here, you note that in particular over the couple of minutes that it takes to get away from port, nothing starts and enough time passes that nothing's going to start long term. Even though there's soldiers and prisoners on the same boat, everyone here is getting out of a bad situation. You get the impression.
Alright, well, that's perfect. You know what? That's excellent. Just didn't want any, midnight shankins or dirty looks at dinner or whatever.
So why don't we cut it off here?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Y'all can come back here at twitch.tv/Croden_live to get all the Croden you need, _live. You can go to youtube.com/Mr. Croden for these after they're posted. That being said, if you go to the Twitch, you can get the VODs a little bit earlier. It seems to be where the tide is going. It seems to be where all the YouTube people are migrating, so it's posted a little earlier.
All the Croden.
I'm not saying no.
Word.
And if you are intrigued by our system, where we rolled 720 for collective blockade of boats blowing up in sequence, you can check that out at twitch.tv, bloodwine.fandom.com. That's the URL. And tune in next week where I take a long, hard look at the fact that I have to say a bunch of URLs in sequence and keep fucking them up. So,
yep.
I mean, it's not like this is an announcement, but I think I'm going to work on the outro a little bit.
Just a little bit. But if you like Will's Mad Ramblings, Will and I are going to be playing another game on Saturday. And I think we're playing Night in the Woods this weekend. Yeah, I think that was the general consensus of our. What the fuck are we playing?
Have you played Night in the Woods? Do you know what goes down? I know what goes down.
I know.
It's a game about depression.
Yeah, I know vaguely that, and also it's basically like your Ripper campaign, where it starts off where everyone in the town just kind of gets a little bit of a sketchy feel, and you feel like your character did something, but you don't know what. That's pretty much all I remember from watching people play Night in the Woods.
Perfect. The Night in the Woods is going to be spooky as shit. Tune in.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, we'll see you all in a while.
All right.
Either appropriate the Smosh outro or just scream "shut up" at the top of our voices. Let's all try it. 3, 2, 1. Shut up! And then you cut it.
I forgot about the Smosh intro. No, let's not do
I
that.
haven't watched like Smosh since like 2004.
No one has. I thought it.
Embarrassing story about my life. My buddy and I, when we were in like grade 9 or something like that, we wanted to start a YouTube channel that was very similar sort of sketch, lol so random XD, video game references, all sorts of like skits like that. They were really fucking bad, and they're still online as far as I know.
Oh, do you know the link?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I mean, we all have something derelict on the internet. Like, I have old videos from my bands that are still on my YouTube page.
Yep.
Somebody actually sent me on Facebook, like, a video of me in the 8th grade on, like, a bus.
That's terrorism. That's not okay.
I have an old CD that was me in elementary school doing a report. Like, you know, did you guys have to do this in elementary school where you had to do a report on something Canadian? It's like a science fair for Canadian shit?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
The Heritage Fair, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It was the Heritage Fair. So my buddy and I did Bob and Doug McKenzie, and we did an entire bit where he was Bob, I was Doug, and yeah, we just did an entire bit on the history of Bob and Doug McKenzie as Bob and Doug McKenzie. And it's cringy as fuck, and I have that videotape in my apartment somewhere.
That's amazing. That's potential future stream content.
Exactly.
Okay, should we...
Yeah, come back next time. We have a show.
Yep. Bye,
Have a good
everybody.
day.